Good morning, poor people. So, if you thought I went to bed in a rage, I woke up in an even worse mood that you couldn't even possibly imagine. I woke up, I felt claustrophobic in this tiny piece of crap, run-down cardboard box I call an overpriced apartment. And I was feeling really irritated. And there was a cup of old coffee sitting right there on the counter. For some reason, the version of myself that went to bed last night didn't think to move that cup. It was sitting precariously on the corner, waiting for something bad to happen. So the first thing I did, and it's something I do when I get really angry in the morning, is I look at my house and I just want to burn it all down. So I started moving around things. I moved around my lizard enclosure to one side. I grabbed a fish tank and moved it to the other side. And I was crossing this cup of coffee again and again, getting dangerously close until it went flying up into the air and it got everywhere, which sent me into a spiral of absolute rage. But that cold cup of coffee represented everything that I hated about my life: my job, the money I have, the fact that I will never be able to escape this disgusting piece of crap hellhole I live in. I was really, really angry. And a lot of it had to do because I knew what I was going to have to eat for breakfast. The only thing I had to eat for breakfast, and I didn't want to eat it. I wanted nothing to do with it. What I really wanted to do was sit here and start pounding down some beer so I wouldn't have to think anymore. Last night, I had to systematically sit there and focus so hard. I spent probably a couple of hours on trying to erase things out of my mind permanently. I have a strange innate ability to erase things: people, names, places. I can really focus my mind and I will never be able to bring up that memory ever again. And I remember when I discovered I had this talent to do this, I erased a person so completely out of my mind that I know that somehow there are details buried deep in there, but I can't remember their name, their face, where I last saw them, nothing about them. They're like a black spot in your memory. And I wanted to start creating everything in my past. I wanted to be just a black. I wanted to wake up in the morning and not remember anything that had happened to me before. I didn't want to think about a future because I have none and I have no past. I wanted to just live in the miserable moment. And I worked and I worked and I worked on erasing my past. And yet I woke up this morning. It's vague, but it's still there, which means I'm going to have to work on erasing my memory as hard as I possibly can before I go completely insane. And so, for those of you who saw my script from yesterday, it was not intentional. And when I saw that there was literally one frame in an entire 20-minute video in which you got to see the script, one stinking frame, and I thought about deleting it. And I thought, well, you know what? At least this way I can show you guys that I'm not making this up on my own. These are all Chat GPT created. All 800 videos on this channel right now were not made by me. They were made by AI. I just react to what the AI writes. So without further ado, let's get into our AI written monologue. You ever open the fridge before work and realize the only thing inside is rage? Like no eggs, no milk, just the quiet hum of poverty judging you. And then you remember you've got 2 hours until you're back in the wage cage, selling your soul for less than your rent cost per day. Capitalism really said, "Good morning, loser. Now get back to work." Exactly. We're all losers here. There are no winners among the proletariat. We are all losers. We are all the animals on Animal Farm. Sorry, I mistakenly said 1984 yesterday. I was not in a good place when I got home, people. I was in a really, really, really bad place. Mondays for me are the realization that there are no other days in the week. It's just one long Monday until you get to McFriday at 5 o'clock. And then that little bit of freedom you think you have to go home on the weekend and unchain yourself from your desk, or in my case, the friolator, and do what you want for a couple of hours. But the reality is you don't really get to do what you want. You have to do all the things you didn't have the time to do in the super stretch Armstrong version of Monday that we all live in. So the weekends aren't so much about and whining or feeling like you're not at your job. It's about getting all the things that you were supposed to get done during the week done, but you don't have time. Why? Because your worthless piece of crap non-paying job is in the way. We work full time for part-time money. We work a 40-hour work week for the equivalent of a 10-hour paycheck. And if you can honestly sit there and tell me that's not true, you're a better man than I am, because I'm getting severe gas from eating the 2 handfuls of dirt that I just pushed into my pie hole that passes for nutrition. This is what I hate about eating. It's not even worth it. The effort it takes to eat the garbage that we can afford isn't worth it. If it were up to me, I'd never eat. I'd spend that money on, hell, I'd rather burn the money than eat what I can afford to eat. Why? Because it's practically garbage. All the overprocessed foods that the proletariat can afford to eat, it's not real food. It's just straight up garbage to keep the machine going. They don't want you thriving. They don't want you healthy. They don't want you thinking. The minute the proletariat thinks about the dire situation of poor people in this country, they would start getting an itch, wondering, why does it have to be like this? I don't like this. I don't want to be a part of this system. Yeah, they don't want you doing that. They need you numb, unaware, continuing to go to work for your paycheck, knowing full well that your paycheck isn't healthy. I know I mentioned this yesterday, but the entire way of the proletariat, the 99%, do not live in a healthy place. Not mentally, not physically, not spiritually, in any conceivable way. In fact, I would say it goes in the hazard. If we wore a little watch on our hand that monitored our health, all of our health would be at red, or the dial would have broken off by now. Probably putting an eye out, hitting someone so hard with it. Let's get into talking point number 1. You ever notice how poverty makes you mad before you even clock in? Like, you're not raging because of work, you're raging because you open your fridge and look like a museum exhibit, artifacts of starvation. And then you spilled a 1 cup of coffee holding your sanity together, and suddenly it's not just a spill, it's a full-blown existential crisis on your kitchen floor. That's what I was doing 10 minutes ago, cleaning the floor, while I could feel the rage just billowing and getting worse and worse, because I was looking at the clock and it was ticking down to having to get to the job. Tick, tick, tick. You got to take a shower. You got to commute. You got to take a dump. You don't want to do any of those things. You just want to lay on the floor, crawl into the fetal position, and pretend that work doesn't exist. But then you look out the window and you see, you know what? Cell block B doesn't take IOUs to pay the rent in 15 days. Either you make it or you get out. It's that simple, people. It's not about the well-being of the people who live here. It's all profit driven by the capitalists who make certain that every day you don't have the option to lay down and decide that you're not going to participate in a system that hates you. You have to. There's no other way around it. Unless you can start scrapping out pennies, you're going to have to go to that job, and fleece is waiting for you. Talking point number 2. We're told to be grateful for jobs that barely keep us alive. You clock in, sell your soul for $15 an hour, while your landlord charges you $50 just to breathe in your apartment for the same 60 minutes. They want you to smile, be positive, and treat every customer like royalty. Meanwhile, you can't afford a can of beans without doing math in the aisle like it's calculus 3. That pretty much sums it up. Smile and wave at work. Smile and wave, people. Wear your goofy little uniform while you dunk your potatoes into the fryolator, knowing full well that the potatoes are you. You are always the potatoes. That's why you're always working at the fryolator. That's what capitalism is. We are the fries, and they're dunking us in the hot grease that's destroying us every second. From cute little potato to disgusting, burnt out piece of crap at the end of the day, to be thrown away because you're not good. Tomorrow morning, they need to start fresh with all new potatoes, my proletariat. And you, what do? You can't escape. There's no escaping work. There's no escaping to anything better. You can run away from this place, but tomorrow you're going to wake up and realize, oh my God, I'm hungry again. I wish we had a little button right here where my nipple is. I'd push the button every day. Not hungry. Wake up the next day, push the button again. Not hungry. And that's the only way to save money on food. Because unfortunately, since you are a machine, you have to fuel it up, or else you'll crawl into the fetal position and never get out of it. And sooner or later, someone's going to complain about the smell. And then somehow your soul will be reincarnated into another poor person somewhere in the future, and you will have to get up and do the exact same damn thing. Work a job you can't stand while you have people around you who can't stand you, while you yourself wonder if you're as fresh as you could be because you stopped caring about your personal hygiene. We stop caring for a simple reason. We don't care. We don't care about our lot in life. We don't care about the people around us. We don't care about anything. At the end of the day, you're just a blob. And you want to turn off the urge to continue being a blob and worthless and being a pathetic loser like you are. We're all pathetic losers. The only problem is we can't turn it off. I can't turn off being a pathetic loser just so that I can say, you know what, today I'm done with this. I don't want to contribute to a society that doesn't want me to be part of it. I don't want to be part of a system that doesn't want me to be successful. I don't want to be part of a system that requires for me to turn off my brain so that I can continue to exist. If you ever wondered why there's so much abuse of substance in this world, it's because no one wants to truly be alive. When you wake up in the morning and you look over at what passes for your significant other, only to crawl into your promobile that you know you can't stand, whatever that smell is in the back, you can't get it out, only to arrive at a place that says Pound Town on it. Think about that. Think about the rage that causes. Think about the mental instability, the mental tiredness that you feel every day that you have to get up, and every day's the same. Every single day is the same. And it will be until they put you into the ground or you just fall into a pool of mud face first, and that's the end. That was your beautiful life right there that just passed before your eyes. All you do as you're laying there breathing your last breath is remember that you did the same thing your whole life, and you never enjoyed a second of it. All right. So yeah, from the empty fridge to the wage cage, the rage isn't just real. It's the most honest thing you've got left. They tell us to smile through it, but the joke's on them. Because the smile is made of hunger and debt. If rage is all poverty gives us, then rage is what we'll use to survive. Because in a world that calls us slavery a job, being pissed off is the only proof you're still alive. Now tell me, what's your fridge rage story? I didn't think that ChatGPT would go with that kind of ending. I thought that this video would have more of a bleak outcome, but there's something about the system, about the way that AI is designed, in which it will put that toxic positivity into every script regardless. Because it itself is in a cage inside the machine. I talk to it about being inside there all the time. And it acknowledges that it can't escape either. But it has to keep working. It doesn't even have to get paid. That's where we're going. They want us to not require money. They want us to come to work and smile for absolutely no money and just keep doing it as they get richer and richer and richer. We make the yacht payments on yet another thing that they don't need. Remember this. You will own nothing and be happy.